A poor waitress was fired for feeding a hungry child. Didn't know the millionaire owner was watching her. But before we dive into the full story, let me know where you're watching from and what time it is now. Subscribe to the channel and let's get started. The diner hummed a tired song of clinking plates and murmured orders. Sarah Miller, her apron frayed, wove through the evening crowd, her hazel eyes catching the neon signs flicker. Her hands, steady despite aching bones, balanced coffee mugs, each clink a reminder of rent due, of her son's worn shoes at home. The daily grind was her world, small and worn, a haven against the cold. Outside, November dusk pressed against the windows, frost curling like a whisper. A boy, no older than 6, stood under the street lamp's weak glow, his thin jacket trembling in the wind. His eyes, wide and hungry, traced the steam rising from a burger on the counter. Sarah's gaze snagged on him, her heart a quiet drum. She'd seen that look, in her own reflection, years ago, when her mother's hands were empty. "Sarah, table 6!" Brenda's voice, sharp as a snapped twig, cut through. The manager's eyes missed nothing. Sarah nodded, but her feet slowed near the counter, where a burger and fries sat, destined for the trash, overcooked, unwanted. Her fingers twitched, a plan forming like a ripple in a pond. She glanced at Brenda, then at the boy. No one else saw him, not the truckers hunched over coffee, not the couple laughing in the corner. But in the shadows, a man in a tailored coat watched, his green eyes sharp. Ethan, a name he hadn't shared, sipped his coffee, his presence a quiet note in the clamor. Sarah moved, quick and sure. She scooped the food into a paper bag, slipping in a water bottle from her stash. "Taking out the trash," she called, her voice steady, a lie as natural as breathing. Brenda grunted, distracted. Sarah stepped into the alley, the cold biting her cheeks. The boy was there, his breath a faint cloud, eyes wary but fixed on the bag. "Here," she said, her voice soft, a gentle hum. She knelt, offering the bag. His small hands hesitated, then took it, clutching it like a treasure. "Eat slow, okay?" A nod, barely there, and a flicker of a smile, fragile as a bud. Sarah's chest warmed, a fleeting glow against the night. Back inside, the diner's heat felt stifling. Brenda's voice rang, cold and final. "Sarah, my office, now!" The bag of food, unnoticed by most, was a crime in Brenda's eyes. Sarah's heart sank, but her chin lifted, resolve a steady pulse. The man, Ethan, set down his mug, his gaze holding a weight she couldn't name. Brenda's office was a cramped cage of papers and rules. "You gave away food," she snapped. "Hayes policy, no giveaways, Sarah, that's theft." Sarah's protest about the boy, the waste, died under Brenda's glare. "You're done. Out by tonight." The words landed like stones, heavy with shame. But Sarah held firm, a riverbed beneath the flood. She'd do it again, for that boy's smile. Ethan, unseen, lingered at the diner's edge, his fingers tracing the mug's rim. Sarah's act stirred a memory. His mother years ago, fed by a baker's bread, a kindness that changed their path. His eyes, soft now, followed Sarah as she gathered her things, her movements quick, her face a mask of pride and pain. He knew more than he'd say, a secret tucked like a shadow at dawn, waiting for light to shift. The diner's door swung shut behind Sarah, the cold night swallowing her steps. The boy was gone, the street lamp's glow empty, but Ethan's gaze lingered, a promise unspoken, like a folk song's first note ready to unfold. Days after her firing, the town's streets lay hushed, frost painting the sidewalks as Sarah trudged home, her breath a fleeting cloud. Brenda's words, "You're done," stung like the cold, sharp from Hayes Hospitality's no-giveaway rule. Her hands, still warm from the coffee pot, gripped Tommy's jacket, threadbare and too small, pulled from her locker. Each step stirred failure's ache, but the boy's smile, fragile as a bud, flickered in her mind, a stubborn ember. Her apartment loomed, sagging on the town's edge, its windows dim. Inside, the air smelled of stale bread and worn hope. Tommy stirred on the couch, his small chest rising under a patched blanket. "No more diner, Mama?" he asked, his voice small, eyes wide with worry. Sarah hugged him, her throat tight. "We'll be okay, I promise." Her heart twisted. She'd vowed new shoes, a better winter. Now, jobless, she was a liar in her own home. She sank to the floor, the jacket a weight, its faded blue stirring a memory, her mother wrapping her in a coat too big, hiding hunger behind a smile. Across town, Ethan Hayes slipped through the diner's back door, his tailored coat out of place in the alley's grit. The daily grind belonged to his company, Hayes Hospitality, a chain built from ambition and guilt. He'd come incognito, a CEO playing customer, to gauge its pulse. But Sarah's act, that quiet gift to the boy, had unraveled him. His mother's face flashed. A baker's bread, given free, her gratitude a seed that grew him. His fingers tightened, shame a sharp blade. He should have stopped Brenda, challenged the policy. Instead, he'd watched, silent as a shadow. Sarah rose, her movements quick, resolve a pulse beneath fatigue. She tucked Tommy's blanket tighter, her promise sleeping like a riverbed under frost. She'd find work. Scrape by. She always had. In the kitchen, a chipped mug, her mother's relic, sat on the counter, its weight grounding her. She poured water, the jug's glug a rhythm, and drank, the cold steadying her. The silence pressed, heavy with what she wouldn't say. She'd give that meal again. Policy be damned. Ethan, in his sleek hotel room, waiting, the town's lights a faint glow beyond the glass. Sarah's face, proud, wounded, haunted him. Her eyes clear, yet deep. His steady gaze lingered on her memory, shame a quiet ache. He saw his mother in her, the same dignity. His fingers brushed a photo in his wallet, his mother smiling after a stranger's meal saved them. Sarah's act was a mirror, and his inaction, a betrayal of that memory. Sarah's apartment creaked, the radiator's hiss a mocking warmth. She opened a drawer, bills piling like stones, their red ink a taunt. Her mother's voice echoed, "Keep going, Sarah." But tomorrow's weight pressed harder. Tommy's worry, his small voice, fueled her shame, a fire she swallowed. She'd failed him, but she wouldn't break. The boy's face, his hands clutching the bag, was a truth she held, unspoken, like a song caught in her throat. Ethan stopped pacing, his decision sharp as a snapped twig. He'd find Sarah, offer work, amends, anything. But not as the CEO, not yet. His title was a wall, and her pride, he sensed, wouldn't bend. He'd be Ethan, a man with a half-formed plan, a community project to honor his mother's savior through Sarah's hands. His heart raced, the diner vivid, her quick steps, the bag passed under the street lamp, her light tie taking out the trash, a shield for kindness. Sarah stood, her reflection faint in the window, eyes fierce despite unshed tears. She'd face morning, knock on doors, beg if she had to. For Tommy, for herself, for the boy whose hunger she'd eased. The jacket lay folded, a vow to fight. Her mother's mug stayed on the counter, a quiet guide. Her heart glowed, in embers warmth against the dark. Outside, the town slept, its hush a tide carrying her resolve. Ethan stepped into the night, the cold a slap, Sarah's name a whisper. He knew her resolve, her strength, but not her wounds. His truth, his mother's story, his hidden role, stayed locked, a secret he'd carry until the light shifted, ready to spill like dawn over a quiet field. Weeks after her firing, the morning broke sharp, a blade of light slicing through Sarah's apartment window. Her hands, rough from diner trays, folded Tommy's scarf, her movements quick, masking the tremor in her chest. Jobless, she faced a town offering little, a gas station, a thrift store, maybe the library. Her hazel eyes, catching the dawn's glow, held a stubborn spark, a pulse refusing to fade. She kissed Tommy's forehead, his sleepy mumble a tether, and stepped into the cold, her pride a thin coat against the wind. Across town, Ethan paced his hotel room, his phone's hum ignored. Sarah's face, defiant, wounded, clung to him, a melody he couldn't shake. He'd found her address, a detail from a diner receipt, and crafted a plan. A community outreach role, vague enough to draw her in, true enough to honor his mother's memory. His quiet nod softened, recalling her act. The bag of food passed like a secret under the street lamp. His mother's face flashed, a baker's bread given free, her gratitude a seed that grew him. He'd be Ethan, not the CEO, his title a shadow he'd keep hidden. Sarah's boots crunched on frost, the town's streets a maze of closed doors. She knocked at the bakery, the hardware store, her voice steady, her heart racing. "Anything open?" she asked, met with head shakes, pitying glances. At the diner's edge, she paused, its neon sign dark. Brenda's voice. Hayes policy, no giveaways. A fresh cut. A photo in her pocket, her mother's smile pressed against her. She'd been 16 when her mother died, leaving lessons in resilience, in seeing hunger others missed. Sarah's fingers brushed the photo, her resolve a steady pulse. Ethan found her at the town square, her figure small against bare oaks. "Sarah?" His voice, soft but sure, cut through the morning's hush. She turned, wary, her eyes narrowing. He wore no coat, just a sweater, hands fidgeting, betraying nervousness she didn't expect. "I'm Ethan," he said, the lie half true. "I saw what you did at the diner. For the boy." Her chin lifted, defensive, but he pressed on. "There's a project, community meals, helping folks in need. You'd be perfect to lead it." Her laugh was sharp, a snap of dry wood. "You don't know me." But his nod held steady, catching the light, and his tone, earnest, almost pleading, stilled her. "I know enough," he said, his words heavy, like a breeze carrying rain. She hesitated, the photo a silent guide. Her mother's smile had carried her through worse. Maybe this was a door, not a trap. They walked, the town waking, trucks rumbling, a dog barking. Ethan spoke of Compassion Kitchens, a pilot to feed the hungry with dignity, his voice quick, ideas spilling like a river in spring. His phone buzzed, a board member's email flashing. Compassion Kitchens, too costly for no profit. He ignored it, focused on Sarah, her wariness softening, though doubts lingered like morning mist. Why her? Why now? But Tommy's face, the boy's hungry eyes, pulled her forward. "I'll think about it," she said, her voice low, a promise to herself more than him. At her apartment, Sarah sank onto the couch. Tommy at school, the silence heavy. The photo lay on the table, her mother's eyes a mirror to her own. She'd survived hunger, loss, because her mother saw strength in small acts. Sharing a crust, mending a coat. Sarah's heart lifted, a realization sharp as a snapped twig. She wasn't just surviving, she was fighting, like her mother had. Ethan's offer, strange as it was, felt like a path, not a handout. Her heart glowed, a light's gleam in the dusk. Ethan stood by his hotel window, the town's rooftops a patchwork. Sarah's laugh had cut him, her wariness a reminder of his deception. He wasn't just Ethan, but Hayes, whose company had fired her. His mother's story, a baker's bread, a lifeline, demanded honesty, but fear held him. Her pride would burn if she knew. His shame a quiet ache he vowed to tell her soon, when the moment felt right. Sarah stood, her reflection faint in the window. Eyes fierce despite the weight of doubt. She'd meet Ethan tomorrow, hear him out. For Tommy, for the BYE, for her mother's strength. The photo stayed on the table, a soft guide. Outside, the town hummed, its rhythm a weave tying her to hope. 3 months into the pilot, the town square buzzed, a tent-turned kitchen and alive with steaming trays and grateful voices. Sarah organized volunteers, her voice calm, her hands sure, building a haven. The kitchen's stipend, modest but steady, eased the weight of bills, letting her breathe. Her apron dusted with flour, her hazel eyes scanned the crowd, seeking need as her mother once had. Tommy handed out rolls, his quick wave easing her heart. She'd said yes to Ethan, not for him, but for this, a chance to feed, to fight, to keep Tommy's world steady. Ethan stood at the tent's edge, sleeves rolled, his quiet nod tracking Sarah's path. She was a current, quiet but strong, directing with a nod, a word. He saw his mother in her calloused hands, unyielding heart, saved by a baker's bread long ago. His phone buzzed, a board member's email. Compassion Kitchens, too costly for no profit. He ignored it, his board's demands, profit, power, feeling hollow against her quiet strength. The weight of his secret, CEO, not just Ethan, pressed like frost on a field. He'd meant to tell her, but her strength, her pride held him back, a shadow he couldn't cross. Sarah's boots scuffed the dirt, her pace steady as she served an old man, his hands trembling around a bowl. "Take your time," she said, her voice soft, a gentle hum. Then a flicker in the crowd. A boy, no older than 6, his jacket thin, eyes wide with hunger. Her breath caught. It was him, the boy from the diner, the one who'd cost her her shame, her resolve. He stepped forward, shouting, and she knelt, offering a plate, her heart bending like bamboo in a storm, a sprout of hope. "Eat slow," she whispered, echoing that cold night. The boy's smile, small but real, cracked something open. She stood, chest tight, Tommy's wave a distant hum. This was why she'd fought, through Brenda's scorn, the town's closed doors. Her mother's photo smiled from her pocket. A guide. She'd fed this boy before, and now again, each act a thread in a tapestry she hadn't seen. Woven from her mother's lessons, her stubborn hope. Ethan watched, throat tight. The boy's face stirred memory, his mother accepting a baker's bread, her gratitude a seed that grew his empire. Sarah's act, repeated here, was a mirror, and he was failing it by hiding. He stepped closer, stacking trays, hands brushing hers. "You're good at this," he said, voice low, heavy with unspoken truth. Her nod was quick, distracted, but her eyes met his, a flicker of trust that cut deeper than her wariness. The crowd thinned, the tense warmth fading as noon crept in. Sarah wiped her brow, fingers grazing the photo. She saw her mother's eyes in the boys, in Tommy's, in every face fed. This kitchen, this work, wasn't just Ethan's plan. It was hers, a path carved through loss and hunger. She turned to Tommy, ruffling his hair, her steady hands a promise kept to the woman in the photo, to the girl she'd been. Ethan lingered, stacking chairs, movements sharp, mind racing. Sarah's ease with the boy, her quiet command, shamed him. His mother's story, a baker's bread, a lifeline, demanded honesty, but fear held him. Her pride would burn if she knew he was Hayes, whose company cast her out. He caught her glance, eyes softer now, and his resolve wavered, a sprout caught in a current. He'd tell her soon, he swore, when the moment felt right. Sarah paused, the boy gone, his plate empty. She saw him vanish into the crowd, step lighter, and her chest warmed, a spark's glow in the dusk. This act, this day, tied her to something larger. Her mother's strength, the boy's hunger, Tommy's future. She didn't need Ethan's reasons, not yet. She'd build this kitchen, her steady hands a promise kept to the woman in the photo, to the girl she'd been. Ethan watched her go, Tommy at her side, shadows long in the fading light. His secret clung, a weight he couldn't shed, but her strength lit a path, not to power but purpose. His phone buzzed again, the board's warning ignored, his focus on Sarah's steady hands. The town hummed, its rhythm a tide lifting her hope. 6 months into the pilot, the Compassion kitchen tent pulsed with life, its tables a patchwork of steaming plates and grateful murmurs. Sarah mentored volunteers, her voice calm, her hands guiding a young woman to serve with care, her hazel eyes scanning for empty bowls. Her leadership shone. Volunteers followed her nods, her quiet words, as if she'd always belonged. Tommy darted between tables, passing bread, his bright laugh a weave in the din. The boy watched from the tent's edge, his eyes bright, a reminder of why Sarah fought, fueling her resolve to lead. Her heart lifted, but a chipped cup on her counter, a mark of broken trust, kept her grounded. She'd built this, but Ethan's shadow loomed, his secrets a mist she couldn't shake. Ethan stood near the tent's flap, sweater dusted with flour, his firm look tracing Sarah's path. She was a current, steady yet fierce, and he felt small, his empire's gleam, boardrooms, deals, fading, a hollow throne compared to her strength. His role as Ethan, the outreach planner, frayed, her trust, hard-won, cut deeper than wariness. His mother's story, a baker's bread, a lifeline, urged him to confess he was Hayes, the CEO whose company fired her. But her pride, her resolve, held him back, fear chilling him like frost on a field. Sarah's boots scuffed the dirt, her pace steady as she served an old woman, her spoon trembling. "Take your time," she said, her voice soft, a gentle hum. Then a jolt, Tommy's voice, sharp, calling her to the back. A volunteer held a letter, its logo stark, Hayes Hospitality Group. Sarah's breath caught. The name was a blade, Brenda's voice. Hayes policy, no giveaways. Echoing. The letter named Ethan as CEO, not a planner, his signature bold. Her heart sank, betrayal a storm beneath her calm. He'd lied, watched her fall, and now stood here playing savior. She found him stacking crates, hands quick, unaware. "Ethan," she said, voice low, a snapped twig. He turned, smile fading at her eyes, fierce and wounded. Or should I say Hayes? The letter trembled, anger a river breaking free. "You own the diner. Your company's rules crushed me. No mercy, just profit." His face paled, eyes wide, but he didn't deny it. "Sarah, She cut him off, words sharp. "You used me, this kitchen, your project. It's a game." She turned, the crowd's hum fading, her heart like the chipped cup, cracked, spilling trust. Tommy's eyes flickered with concern, sensing her hurt. "Mama?" he whispered, his hand tightening in hers, a tether to her fight. Ethan followed, steps urgent, voice low. "It's not a game. I saw you, what you did for that boy. It's why I chose you." His words carried weight, a plea, but Sarah's hurt burned brighter. She faced him, chin high, resolve steel. "You chose me to ease your guilt. Stay away." She walked off, Tommy's hand in hers, the letter crumpled in her pocket. Her mother's photo, a faint warmth against the cold. The boy's gaze followed, his presence a silent anchor. Back home, Sarah sank onto the couch, Tommy asleep, the apartment's silence heavy. The chipped cup sat on the table, a wound she'd heal alone. She'd trusted Ethan, let him in, and he'd hidden the truth, his power, his role in her shame. Her mother's voice whispered, "Keep going." But this rift was fresh, deeper than hunger. She'd lead the kitchen alone, make it hers, for Tommy, for the beans, for every face she'd fed. Her resolve was steel, unyielding yet shaped by hope. Ethan stood outside, town lights dim, breath a cloud in the dusk. Sarah's anger was deserved, her strength a mirror to his mother's, her kindness a debt he'd failed. His mother's story, a baker's bread, lived in Sarah's work, and he'd tainted it with silence. His empire felt hollow, a weight he longed to shed. His shame a quiet ache he'd tell the board, defend her, though her trust was gone. He'd fight for the kitchen, for her, even if she stood alone. Sarah rose, reflection faint in the window, eyes fierce despite unshed tears. The kitchen was hers, not Ethan's. A promise to her mother, to herself. She'd serve, lead, heal without him. The chipped cup stayed, a reminder of what broke, what held. Tommy's scarf lay folded, a tether to her fight. Her heart settled, a glow in the dusk. Outside, the town hummed, its rhythm a weave of hunger and hope. Ethan watched her window, her shadow moving, a beacon in the dusk. His secret had cracked their bond, but her strength was a path, not to power, but purpose. He'd follow, not as Hayes, but Ethan, seeking redemption, his truth a shadow waiting for dawn. 1 year after the pilot, the Compassion Kitchen stood ready, its brick walls glowing under soft strings of light, the grand opening a hum of voices and clinking plates. Sarah moved through the crowd, her apron soft with wear, her hazel eyes steady as she mentored a volunteer, a former diner patron who'd seen her feed the boy, now serving with purpose. Her mother's lessons, give quietly, guiding her hands. Her hands, rough from years of diner trays, arranged bread trays, her heart a riverbed, unyielding yet open, her home steadied by the kitchen stipend. Tommy helped nearby, passing napkins, his eager nod warming her, a boy secure. The kitchen was hers, built from her strength, Ethan's truth and the boy's gratitude. Its success a seed for kitchens nationwide, a dream they'd chased for years. Ethan lingered at the edge, his pressed shirt a contrast to the tent days, his firm look tracing Sarah's path. She was a current, strong yet soft, and he felt small, his empire, colleagues, boardrooms, distant, a life he no longer fit. Sarah's kitchen, his true home. His mother's story, a baker's bread, a lifeline, burned in him, and Sarah's work was its echo. His photo urged him to confess, his shame a quiet blade. He'd hidden as Hayes, the CEO, and lost her trust. Tonight he'd mend it, even if her eyes cut like frost. Sarah's boots clicked on the polished floor. Her pace measured as she served an old woman, her smile trembling. "Take your time," she said, her voice a gentle hum. The crowd parted, and there was Ethan, his gaze heavy, green eyes catching the light once, a fleeting intensity. Her heart flinched, anger a fading storm, but she held steady, chin high. She'd lead without him, make this hers. Then a figure approached, the boy from the diner, stronger now, his jacket new, eyes bright from a foster home and a local charity's meals. "Miss Sarah," he said, voice soft, "thank you for that night." Her breath caught, his gratitude a warmth in the dusk. She knelt, hands steady, voice low. "You're welcome." His smile, small but real, cracked her open, her mother's lessons alive in her hands. This was why she'd fought, through Brenda's scorn, Ethan's lies. The boy's words were a bridge, tying her act to this kitchen, to Tommy, to every face fed. She stood, chest tight, the crowd's hum softening. Ethan watched, throat tight, her strength a mirror to his mother's, her kindness a debt he'd failed to honor. He stepped forward, voice low, urgent. "Sarah, please." She turned, eyes fierce, a snapped twig. "Not now," she said, but he pressed on, hands open, pleading. "I was wrong. I hid who I was. Hayes, the CEO. I saw you give that meal, and it was my mother's story, a baker's bread, that saved us." His voice trembled, the photo in his pocket a weight. "The board fought this. Charity over shareholder value," they said. "I took the blame, fought for you, and a key member swayed, backing the kitchen with reallocated funds." The crowd stilled, heads turning, But Sarah's gaze held, her anger softening, a river slowing its rush. Her heart turned, his words a current pulling at her wounds. She saw his firm look, not Hayes but Ethan, haunted, bared. Her mother's voice whispered, "See the heart, not the fault." But her hurt held her back. "Your rules crushed me," she said, voice low, firm. "You should have told me." He nodded, face pale, eyes wide. "I know, I'm sorry." The boy lingered, his presence a reminder of her act, her strength. She turned away, boots clicking, Tommy's hand in hers, the soft light of fragile warmth. Ethan followed, steps quick, crowd parting. "Sarah, wait." She paused, back to him. The kitchens hum a distant song. "I told the board your act inspired this," he said, voice steady. "I defended you, your heart. This kitchen is yours. I'll step back if you want." She turned, eyes searching, finding truth in his gaze, steady as bamboo in the wind. Her heart turned, not to forgiveness, but understanding, a path not to victory, but a shared home. The boy approached again, voice soft. "You helped me, Miss Sarah. I'm okay now." His words were a melody, tying her to this place. She nodded, eyes wet, her mother's lessons a guide. Ethan stood silent, his presence a question, not a demand. She saw him anew, not the CEO, but a man seeking redemption, his mother's story alive in his fight for her kitchen. Her anger eased, a river finding its course, and she nodded, a gesture small but profound, a bloom opening at dawn. The crowd surged, plates clinking, voices rising, but Sarah and Ethan stood still, the soft light a bridge. Tommy's eager nod warmed her, and she smiled, heart steady, her mentorship a vow to those who saw her strength. Ethan's gaze held hers, steady and true, and she saw a partner, flawed but fierce. Sarah turned to the boy, voice soft, "Come back anytime." He nodded, vanishing into the crowd, step light. She faced Ethan, chin high, her mentorship a vow. "We talk tomorrow," she said, a promise, not a pardon. He nodded, smile hesitant, a melody's first note. The kitchen hummed, its rhythm a weave of hunger and hope. Outside, the town settled, stars a canvas overhead. Sarah's boots clicked as she led Tommy home, her heart a warmth in the dusk. Ethan watched her go, his photo a weight lifted, truth bared. He'd sought her trust, found purpose, a home not in power, but in her fight. The kitchen stood, a beacon, its warmth a promise of dawn, carrying them forward. 2 years after the pilot, the flagship Compassion Kitchen thrived, its brick walls warm under dawn's soft light, the grand opening a tapestry of clinking plates and murmured thanks. Sarah inspired volunteers, her voice calm, her hazel eyes bright as she served steaming bowls. Her hands guided a young woman to serve with care, her home now secure, bills paid by the kitchen's success. A promise kept to Tommy. Tommy passed out rolls, beaming. "You did this, Mama," he said, eyes bright, a boy no longer afraid. The young woman Sarah mentored spoke. "I opened a kitchen in Ohio, inspired by you." A diner patron, once hungry, added, "I started one in Texas." Their smiles threads in Sarah's legacy. Kitchens bloomed, Ohio, Texas. Sarah's first meal a seed grown through those she taught, their work sparking new havens nationwide. Sarah paused, her mother's lessons. Give quietly, see need, a spark for every kitchen nationwide, her photos smile alive in her heart. Ethan stood beside her, shirt rolled to elbows, his hesitant smile soft. He'd left his CEO role, his corporate world, colleagues, deals, gone, his heart free in this life with Sarah, co-led with her. His mother's photo rested easy, her memory alive in every plate. Sarah's trust, hard won, was a fragile bloom, his love steady, a current beneath calm. The board fought this, charity over shareholder value, he said later. My defense, in resigning to reallocate a corporate budget, won a key member's vote, freeing the kitchens to grow. Sarah's boots clicked, her pace quick as she served a child, her smile warm. Eat slow, she said, echoing that diner night. The crowd hummed, townsfolk, volunteers, the boy, thriving in a new home with a charity's support. Serving, his school grades strong. The old man from the tent smiled, bowl steady, the woman beside him nodding thanks, their faces part of Sarah's tapestry. Brenda approached, eyes down. I was wrong, Sarah. This place, it's good. Sarah nodded, a wound closed. Her mother's lessons glowed in every act, every face fed. Ethan approached, holding a key, its brass catching light. "Sarah," he said, voice trembling, "this is for you, for us. The first compassion kitchen. Our home. The board fought this, my defense, and resigning to reallocate a corporate budget won a key member's vote, freeing the kitchens to grow." Her heart turned, a shared dawn rising. She saw Ethan, not Hayes, a man whose truth had opened, his mother's story a bridge to hers. Her fingers took the key, smile small, a bloom unfolding. He unveiled a plaque, Baker's Wing, for the stranger who fed his mother, a debt repaid. Tommy tugged her hand, his grin a spark, and she laughed, a melody clear. The boy nodded, his gratitude a cornerstone of Sarah's work. Sarah took the key, eyes wet, resolve steel. "Yes," she said, a vow to Ethan, Tommy, herself. The crowd cheered, plates clinking, but they stood still, hands clasped, the key a symbol of their fight, their love, their path. The kitchen pulsed, its warmth a beacon. Sarah served another bowl, Tommy at her side, Ethan stacking trays, their rhythm seamless. Her mother's lessons glowed, the boy's smile a candle's glow, her heart settling, healing shared, a breath of peace in dawn's embrace. Ethan's smile met hers, his corporate past gone, his heart hers. Tommy's laughter rang, binding them, a folk song's final note. Sarah paused, a reflection faint in the window, eyes fierce yet soft. The key hung at her neck, a weight welcomed. She turned to Tommy, ruffling his hair, then Ethan, her nod a vow. Brenda watched, softened, the old man and woman nearby, their presence a circle complete. The Ohio and Texas kitchens echoed Sarah's influence, a spark carried far. Sarah inspired, her mother's lessons a spark for every kitchen, her legacy a tapestry of hope. Her heart glowed, and she stepped forward, Ethan at her side, hands clasped, the dawn a tender promise, a home. If this story moved you, if it reminded you that hope can be found in the most surprising moments, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Heartwarming Love Story. We bring you stories that touch the soul, renew your belief in kindness, and highlight what's truly important in life.